next number family is called rational numbers. Rational numbers can be written as fractions. So the examples they give us here in the book are -2 1/3 is considered a rational number. So if I wanted to graph that on my number line, let's say I need to convert it to a decimal first. How do I convert a fraction into a decimal? We divide the numerator and the denominator. 3 goes into 1. Make it into a 10. 3 goes into 10 3 times. Okay, that process will continue indefinitely. What do we call a decimal that will go on forever? Okay, it's called a repeating or a non-terminating decimal. Okay, the way we abbreviate that is we would draw a little line over our last digit. That tells us that that number goes on forever. So if I want to graph -2 1/3, convert that to a decimal is -2.33 repeating on forever. Where will that fall on our number line? Okay, -2.3. Our second example from the book of a rational number is 7/2. We're going to go into fractions in lecture 2, but how do I turn 7/2 into a whole number or a decimal? So divide 2 into 7. 2 goes into 7 3 times. There's 1 left over. Turn that into a 10. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So I just converted my decimal of 7/2, or I converted my fraction of 7/2, into a decimal of 3.5. Where on the number line would I graph that? Right between 3 and 4. So this decimal is called a terminating decimal because it ends, whereas this one was our non-terminating or repeating decimal, which we abbreviate with that little line over the top. Our next number family is called irrational numbers. The number pi is a great definition of an irrational number because it has a non-repeating and a non-terminating decimal. So the numerical equivalent of pi goes on forever. 3.140149.5. I can't remember all the decimals. The typical cutoff point is 3.14. Pi is an irrational number. Square roots of numbers that can't be broken down evenly are also considered irrational numbers. For example, the square root of 3 is approximately 1.73, but that decimal continues on, versus the square root of 4, which is 2. Irrational numbers cannot be broken down evenly. In your textbook on page 22, right in the middle, there's a box there, an illustration that has the different number families: natural, whole, integers, rational, and irrational numbers. They also generally have a capital letter as their abbreviation. I wouldn't worry too much about those.